Mahartil Bichi. It has been an eventful year for Sam McKinney, a 27-year-old contractor from the Myrtle Beach area who recently made his on-screen debut on ABC's reality dating show, The Bachelorette. Now that his time in the spotlight has come to a close, he spoke to the Post and Courier about being home. McKinney was a frontrunner at the season's beginning. The self-proclaimed softy-handed lead Jenn Tran, a shot within seconds of meeting her, and the two later shared what she described as the feral first kiss of the season. His southern charm, in Tran's words, won him the show's coveted first impression rose, propelling him to the next round of competition. He began turning heads when he struggled to keep it PG during his one-on-one time with Tran, forged a feud with 28-year-old competitor and Tran's now ex-fiancé, demonstrator, and threatened to step on the neck of anyone who came between him and Tran. Upon the airing of his split from Tran, during which she proclaimed that she had closed this chapter in my life, McKinney took to social media to describe his side of the story. "That love that I carry is visceral, it's instinctive, and it's beyond description," he said in an Instagram video post just over 20 minutes after the episode aired. "It just didn't work in that setting, and that's oak." Since his conclusion on the show, complete with media rounds and a later tell-all episode, McKinney has returned home to Morel's Inlet, where he resumed his contracting work. Now, he told the Post and Courier, he is working to reintegrate himself into his community. "After the show, it's been interesting to get back into the full swing of things," he said. "I was gone for a reasonable amount of time, so whenever you're so disconnected from society, trying to jump back into everything can be a little difficult, but I feel like I'm pretty much back there." McKinney admitted that one of the biggest shocks has been his newfound notoriety, inside and outside the Palmetto State. "I don't think I realized how many people watched the show until it was out. You get into an airport or a bar, and somebody stops you," he said. "It's almost a snowball effect. One person recognizes you, they take a photo, and everybody starts asking. It's a lot, but it's something that I think we're enjoying to an extent." Living in a small town, McKinney said, has been a blessing in the wake of these overwhelming moments. "I think one thing I do love about where I live is that nobody really cares about The Bachelorette, and nobody knows me as that guy from The Bachelorette. They just know me as me," he said. "I'm able to go out in my town, and people just respect that right there, not what they see on TV, but who they know as a person." McKinney's homecoming is also an adjustment for his family members, like his sister Olivia Kirtley. After weeks of family-filled Bachelorette watch parties, Kirtley no longer has to see her brother through the small screen. "During his time on the show, we really just kind of gathered around him as family, friends, and community," she told the Post and Courier. "I've had tons of people reach out and check in to see how he's doing. It was challenging sometimes because the way things are depicted isn't always reality, but overall, it was fun." When McKinney is not making an appearance at Kirtley's smoothie shop, News.Is, or kicking it with on-screen competitor and off-screen friend Thomas Nguyen, he frequents some of the Grand Strand's most popular watering holes. "I'm kind of a family man, so I usually find myself at Inlet Beer Garden, just hanging out with them," he said. "I like to go to the tuna shack too. I definitely like to bounce around. I just kind of go wherever the wind blows me." As a Myrtle Beach native, McKinney has no shortage of recommendations for those looking for places to eat, drink, and hang out in his hometown. "The best seafood in the inlet is going to be Hot Fish Club," he said. "They also have super refreshing live music out there, and you sit outside all the water as well, so it's just enjoyable." When it comes to visiting Morel's Inlet's iconic marsh walk, McKinney argued that you can't go wrong. "On the marsh walk, there's plenty of different restaurants. I think it's more fun to bar hop around and stop into each place," he said. "Most restaurants here have live music and an appetizer that they're known for, so you grab a drink and grab an appetizer, and it can be an all-day thing or a one-night thing. Despite the tumult of the last 6 months, McKinney is confident that there's no place he'd rather be than home. "I do take a lot of pride in where I'm from. You come to Murrells Inlet, you take a 30-minute walk outside, and you feel like you have 10 new friends just because of how approachable everybody is," he said. "If you're having a tough time meeting people, then Murrells Inlet is definitely the place to be." Myrtle Beach local Sam McKinney never imagined that signing up for The Bachelorette would lead him down such a tumultuous road. At 27 years old, McKinney, a contractor by trade, had grown up in the cozy coastal town of Murrells Inlet, South Carolina, where everyone knew him as the easygoing guy who loved his job, family, and the sea. Little did he know that the whirlwind experience on ABC's The Bachelorette would challenge him emotionally, test his character, and forever change the way people perceived him. Now that the cameras have stopped rolling and he's back home, McKinney is reflecting on the storm that The Bachelorette stirred up and how he's reconnected with his roots. Sam McKinney entered The Bachelorette with high hopes and optimism. Competing for the heart of lead Jenn Tran, McKinney's strategy was simple: be himself. From the very start, he charmed Jenn with his southern hospitality and warm demeanor. It was clear from the first episode that there was a strong connection between them. In fact, it didn't take long before Jenn awarded McKinney the coveted first impression rose, a symbol that he was someone she felt an immediate bond with. That same night, the two shared the season's first kiss, which Jenn later described as feral. McKinney quickly became a frontrunner, not just because of his good looks and charm, but for his genuine heart. "It felt like Sam was someone I could trust," Jenn said in a confessional during the show. "He has that aura of someone you can lean on." Despite his soft nature, McKinney's passionate approach to winning Jenn's heart sometimes rubbed others the wrong way. As the competition heated up, so did the drama, especially between McKinney and another contestant, Devin Strader. The competition between Sam and Devin reached a boiling point early in the season. While both men were clearly vying for Jenn's attention, their clashing personalities created an intense rivalry. Devin was known for his assertiveness, while McKinney prided himself on being a softie with a kind heart. But behind McKinney's laid-back demeanor was a man fiercely protective of his relationship with Jenn. At one point, tensions escalated to a verbal showdown between the two men. McKinney famously told Devin, "I'll step on the neck of anyone who comes between me and Jenn," a moment that shocked fans and the show's audience alike. It was a side of McKinney that many had never seen before. Despite his words, McKinney remained firm in his belief that his passion was born out of love for Jenn, not animosity toward Devin. The rivalry came to a head just before the hometown dates when Jenn chose to send Sam home, ending their relationship in an emotional conversation. McKinney's departure was one of the most talked-about moments of the season, particularly for the way Jenn closed the door on their connection, stating that she had closed this chapter in my life. After leaving The Bachelorette, Sam McKinney found solace in returning to his hometown. The fame that came with being on a hit reality show was new and unexpected, but home offered a familiar refuge. After the show, "It's been interesting to get back into the full swing of things," McKinney said in an interview with the Post and Courier. "I was gone for a reasonable amount of time, so trying to jump back into everything can be a little difficult, but I feel like I'm pretty much back there." For McKinney, returning to the day-to-day life of a contractor brought a sense of normalcy after the media circus that followed the show. Yet, even in quiet Murrells Inlet, the shadow of his time on The Bachelorette loomed large. Fans of the show, both locals and tourists, would often approach him in airports and bars, asking for photos and details about his time on television. You get into an airport or a bar, and somebody stops you. It's almost a snowball effect, McKinney reflected. It's a lot, but it's something that I think we're enjoying to an extent. Despite the newfound recognition, McKinney found comfort in his hometown's laid-back atmosphere. One thing I do love about where I live is that nobody really cares about the Bachelorette, and nobody knows me as that guy from the Bachelorette. They just know me as me, McKinney shared. I think that's been a blessing. Being home also meant reconnecting with the people who mattered most, his family and close-knit group of friends. His sister, Olivia Kirtley, played an important role in grounding Sam after the emotional roller coaster of the show. During his time on the show, we really just kind of gathered around him as family, friends, and community, Kirtley explained. It was challenging sometimes because the way things are depicted isn't always reality, but overall, it was fun. Beyond his family, McKinney also leaned on old friends, including his on-screen competitor and now close buddy Thomas Nguyen. The two were often spotted at local Grand Strand hangouts, reminiscing about their time on The Bachelorette and enjoying life away from the cameras. Thomas is one of those guys who's like a brother to me now. We went through so much on that show, and now we just laugh about it, McKinney said. One thing that remained constant for McKinney was his love for the outdoors and the natural beauty of Morell's Inlet. The area, known for its picturesque marshwalk and seafood restaurants, provided the perfect backdrop for McKinney's quiet reflection post-Bachelorette. If you ever need to clear your mind, take a walk along the marshwalk, McKinney advised. You can't help but feel at peace out there. When asked about his favorite spots to relax and unwind, McKinney listed local watering holes like Inlet Beer Garden and the Tuna Shack as his go-to destinations. I'm kind of a family man, so I usually find myself at Inlet Beer Garden, just hanging out with them, he shared. It's just a place where you can be yourself, no judgment, just good company. Looking forward, Sam McKinney is focused on his contracting business, his family, and embracing the simple joys of life in his hometown. While he doesn't regret his time on The Bachelorette, he's ready to leave that chapter behind and focus on the future. I'm happy to be home. I do take a lot of pride in where I'm from, McKinney said. Morell's Inlet is where I belong. Though the experience on The Bachelorette tested McKinney in ways he never expected, it also reinforced one important truth. No matter how far you go, there's no place like home.